Let's talk about Irving Goffman. Goffman lived from 1922 to 1982, and Goffman was one of the major symbolic interactionists. So because we're talking about interaction today, we're going to have a quick little introduction to Goffman. Goffman is best known for his theory of dramaturgy. He borrowed the language of the theater to elaborate on our understanding of the self. In the presentation of self in everyday life, he shows how social the self is when in the presence of others. Every day is like the theater, and that we act in ways that present who and what we are. So the self is a matter of public performance. Multiple performances mean multiple selves. So for Goffman, we have many selves. There's many selves as there are situations for who we are to others. So think about that. Right now, you're a student. Later, you might be someone's friend, someone's child. You might have a job in which you have yet another self. The comparison then with theater and the idea that we're all playing different roles is termed dramaturgy, and that's what he's best known for. In this approach, the theater is the basis of an analogy of everyday life. Social action is a performance. People are actors, they play parts, and they stage manage their lives. So it's just like saying, all the world's a stage and we are merely players. That's the idea that Goffman's working with. Of course, Goffman doesn't believe that there's one real self and that all the other selves are fake. Goffman believes that there's no real self, just many different selves that make up the person. So we're all performing in this theater of life, and we seek to control the impressions that we portray to others. Goffman calls this impression management. Implied in the idea of impression management is that actors want to present themselves in the most positive light and a way appropriate to particular roles in social settings. So people systematically conceal information that might be potentially damaging to the encounter or potential relationship. Think about it. When you go to a job interview, you want to show your best working self. That's the relationship that you're trying to create there, one of worker and boss. You want to be the worker, so you want to make sure that you show your best working self. When you go on a date, you have a very different self that you're portraying. You don't sit down at a date and tell people what a hard worker you are and how serious you are about everything. No, you want to show a more laid back self. Maybe you want to show a party self. Every single self we have is very different. All right. Another part of impression management is that people sometimes try to hide things that are going to ruin the impression that they're trying to make. So you're systematically hiding things that are detrimental to the relationship and focusing on things that are beneficial to the relationship. That's why sometimes when you get to know someone, you find that you've known the person for a while and you don't really know them because they've always been in that impression management stage. We will continue to talk about interaction with another video shortly.
Created using Powtoon.